So, The Long Walk is the story of Raymond Garrity, a young man growing up in dystopic future America, not too far off from our own, where the military has fundamentally taken over everything and has created a contest where every year one boy from each of the 50 United States comes together to walk endlessly down a road, and they just keep walking for days at a time. If you drop below 3 miles an hour, you get a warning. Three warnings, and your ticket is punched. What your ticket being punched effectively means is you are shot in the street like a dog on camera. It's brutal, dog. And The Long Walk is a brutal rundown of 50 men, led, of course, by Cooper Hoffman playing Raymond Garrity. We also have David Jonsson as Peter McFreeze, who is tremendous in this feature and does not get enough attention in the marketing. We have a host of other young boys as well. I don't want to get into anybody specific because it's quite the list. I'm sure we'll talk about them in the review. Each one looks like their own unique person. They have their own outfit and silhouette. Some are tall, some are short, skinny, fat. Everybody's their own thing. And slowly over the course of the film, we have to watch these boys walk and continue to walk and slowly get taken out. And it's a challenge, and it's morally confusing. I think King wrote it originally as a commentary on the Vietnam War and young men signing up for service and then going and just kind of being a part of this machine. It's a challenging sort of movie, but it's been getting pretty interesting reviews, and I'm glad we watched it. I'm looking forward to talking about it. The movie is The Long Walk. Andy, what'd you think?
So I enjoyed this overall. It definitely is a bit of a heavy watch. One of the things I saw a lot of people posting about it was like, man, this movie's kind of sad. It's got kind of some heavy things. What I enjoyed about it is that it will, if you see it, it will feel like the Hunger Games, but this is actually predates the Hunger Games quite a bit. But there's just some similarities in that you have this lottery that people from different states in a post-war, some post kind of apocalyptic war, where people sign up, and if you win, you get a bunch of money, and like position improves your life. But it's kind of a death wish if you don't win. So we have that similarity to the Hunger Games, but we meet an interesting cast of characters, and I remember thinking, I was like, this really feels like a war movie, not only in how people are killed, but we meet just this wide cast of characters, people from all different backgrounds, and it's kind of about brotherhood. It's about life itself. It's about, again, the Vietnam War. There is a lot of dialogues, a lot of talking. This could almost work as a play in some respects, which I think would be an interesting treatment. But yeah, overall, I liked it.
Yeah, I like the shape of The Long Walk. But boy, I had a miserable time with it. I was one of those people that just got more progressively sad over the course of the movie. Because it's rated R, and the movie does not shy away from that. In fact, it gives you a soft start. The first couple times they talk about the rules of the walk as Raymond and his mom, played by Judy Greer, are like driving up to the event. They keep saying you get your ticket punched. Don't get your ticket punched. Hey, that guy's gonna get his ticket punched. For like the first like 10 minutes of the movie, it's soft. They even show it in text. They don't say murder. You've seen the trailer. You know what you're getting into. But then when it actually comes down to it, most of it's on screen, and it's pretty brutal, man. Like it's pretty brutal, and it's rated R, and that includes violence and gore, and it's for sure in there. I know that it's like a meditation on something larger. We'll get into that, but for what it is, I do like the shape of this movie. It's funny you mentioned Hunger Games. It's directed by Francis Lawrence, who directed most of the Hunger Games features, and it's a script by King and J.T. Molnar, who we most recently saw writing and directing Strange Darling, which was an indie darling that we covered earlier on the show this year. I like the shape of it. It's a road movie, right? Like it's a bunch of characters on the road, and like as slowly as we go, they are eliminated one by one. It's one part like game show, especially with like the camera that's following them. This like truck just got one like lens out watching them, and you know, you have a series of eliminations. You're right, Hunger Games is perfect. We can talk about also a bit of like The Purge, especially with its like themes of like Americana, and yeah, some thoughts on the military industrial complex and how young men are kind of like, you know, they sign up voluntarily, but really a lot of them are doing it because they feel like that's what they're supposed to do. Like it's complicated. Some stuff on masculinity in there. I really like our cast. For how many boys are out walking, we really get to know probably about four of them really well. Four of them kind of become what they call the Four Musketeers and hang out a little bit a la Stephen King's Stand By Me, right? But really about 8 to 12 of them kind of get some more characterization on screen. And then many of them are just kind of in the background. You know, you'll see some boys walking back there, but for the most part, like they're all very much their own people. Everybody has their own shape and silhouette. They're all very memorable. Like you've got a couple of other bit players in there that we've seen in other films. The new Karate Kid is in there. A couple other indie darlings that I've seen, and everybody's very nice. The kid who plays Jojo Rabbit is in here. Everybody's like very nice and cool and sweet, and they get to be like friends, and it just makes it so much worse when they get eliminated, dog. Like it really is a challenge for me. Like I was struggling watching this movie.
Yeah, I wanted to jump in on these performances. So this is led by Cooper Hoffman, who's coming into it, his own, of course, the son of the late Philip Seymour Hoffman. David Jonsson, who's really becoming a name for himself as well. We last saw him in Alien Romulus as the synthetic in that. And again, also starring Charlie Plummer, Ben Wong from the Karate Kid Legends, Roman Griffith Davis, who, as Zach said, is from Jojo Rabbit. Also some adult performances. Judy Greer plays Ray Garrity's mother. And the one Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker himself, plays the Major, which is kind of this gruff voice he yells instructions, he eliminates people, kind of leading this whole thing. His is the only performance that doesn't work. The rest of them are like, fresh-faced soldiers, essentially. Mark Hamill is like a caricature. It's like he's trying to do Robert Duvall from Apocalypse Now, but it's like a caricature. It really doesn't work. I think that's the only gripe I have. Everyone else is really stellar though.
Yeah, Hamill's doing a really big character, and it's a choice, and it kind of doesn't work. The Major doesn't speak a lot in this movie. Like while he is mostly riding along with them, you don't see him in every scene. Like he gets little speech moments at the beginning, obviously towards the end, like because he's kind of our main villain here. And he is doing this really big boisterous thing, and he's doing his big like voice actor, like he's got the lungs out, man, in the performance. Like I don't know, just kind of didn't work. Judy Greer is like this screaming mom who actually kind of works good, honestly. Like it's a lot. It's really heavy what she's doing. She's Raymond's mom. But it's sincere and like solid. And I almost didn't recognize her in the open of the movie. I was like, oh my God, that's Judy Greer, dude. Like normally I just see her doing soft comedy stuff. I'd see her in like the new Netflix feature. But yeah, so I like everybody in here. I know they shot it in Canada. They said they shot it over like 15 days or like, I don't know, a month or something. And they said, they were walking something like 10 to 15 miles a day. And one of the crazy things about it is almost all of the movie is dolly shots and pulls and pans and motion because you were walking the entire time. It reminds me a little of something like Fury Road in the same way. Yeah, like you're driving almost that whole movie. Like you are consistently moving along. So the shape of this thing, having this long journey from beginning to middle to end, and seeing these characters you get to know like slowly get pulled out for one reason or another is tough, man. I like the warning system. It's a little convoluted. You don't really have to pay attention too much, but throughout the movie you hear this like booming announcer voice from one of these trucks with these armed guards on it that's like number 47, warning number 2, right? Number 38, warning 3. And that gives you a little bit of like leeway for tension, right? Somebody can have 2 warnings and hey, I can't get another one. Okay, you have 3. If you fall behind one more time, you're toast. There's moments when boys stop, they have to keep running. They have these little like Fitbit kind of things on their wrist that like keeps track of it for you. All that works good. I guess I had a little bit hoped that maybe it was going to be more like a Prison Break kind of movie, or like they'd be like, try to work out a way to get out of the situation. But for the most part, it's much more a meditation on the system and the problems with it and how we got to where we're at. And that's challenging emotionally for a movie that is just so grisly. Like it really doesn't shy away from the violence.
Yeah, like I said, it's a metaphor for war, for life itself. We see our cast get whittled down from a number of just bodily injuries because you're walking until you can't. Just physical ailments. There's a lot about the psychology, and again, it's a parallel to war. But they all have different strategies about how they want to try and survive it. Some's like, well, I'm gonna, expel more energy up front and actually like let myself get a warning or two and then recover. And there's a lot of talk about that and just different attitudes. It's interesting what we said. Why would anyone sign up for this? They talk about how everyone signs up for it. Everyone signs up for the lottery. They don't know anyone who has it because things are so bad that they would rather try and do this. And again, all of them, all but one will not make it. But they would rather that than whatever kind of meager existence they're eking out. So it's not about kind of overthrowing the system. There's talks about that, about like I want to change things, and it's more about surviving the horrors as they come.
Yeah, I do want to talk really quickly about the setting before we wrap up. Yeah, although they shot it in Canada, it is just supposed to be like the Midwest. You don't get specifically where they're at. And it's nice seeing the country kind of in decline around these boys because it really does get it set up a good like kind of setting for this tale that they're telling of a country in decline, right? And a country that's run by smog fueled factories and burned out cars and a military that is very indifferent towards like personal feeling and grief and strife, that stuff all works pretty good, and it's a cheap shoot. Like, gosh, you can use a couple extras, have a blind cat sitting on a mailbox, and like a long lonely shot pan by it. Like, it's good. Like, easy, simple filmmaking. Like, low budget, doesn't have to make a lot of money to make it back. Solid, and oddly, I do think probably the most cynical of Stephen King's recent adaptations. He's had a hell of a last couple years at the movies. He's got like 4 or 5 adaptations out. I think he's got a TV show. I can't even remember. And this is one of the most latest ones after Life of Chuck, which Mark Hamill is also in, by the way, doing a big character. He's doing like drunk Wilford Brimley in that movie. And here he's like doing this big major character. Don't know how that worked out. But I think Long Walk is a cool because it's a special shape. But man, I struggled with it. So any other thoughts, Andy, for recommendations?
I think I'm ready.
Andy, would you recommend The Long Walk?
I would, for those interested. It's definitely a serious movie, and it's a little heavy, and has, it's dealing with heavy parallels to the Vietnam War and wars to come, a nation in decline. It's definitely not an upper. It's not an uplifting kind of film, but there is something kind of beautiful about like the sentiment of what we do to survive the horrors and keep going. Kind of that's kind of its main message. It's not a must see in theaters. I think if you're a little on the fence, probably save it for streaming.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. Like, while I do think it is a cool shape for a movie, I think it's awful dour. I think it's got your potential to ruin your afternoon if you just throw this on and don't know what you're getting into. You'll get to the end of it and be like, good God. Like, that was miserable, like it's rough, but a wonderful performance from David Jonsson. Really great work from Cooper Hoffman. Like, not too shabby overall. It's cool. So if you're a cinephile, you like movies, you want to get out something, go for it. But like, I don't think you should wander into this one without having an idea of what you're getting into, because I think you'll be miserable. You see this on Netflix on the front page and don't know any better. You're like, oh, I'll just throw this on. Like, you're gonna be like, what the hell is this? Like, it's unique, and I like that it's unique, but it just wasn't for me. It's just a little too rough, man. Like, I'm a big softie nowadays. Anyway, we got to talk about some upcoming trailers. All right, we got to get to some things that are coming out in the future. Excited to talk about it. Andy, what do we call this segment?
It's time for the trailer park.